give me a check here. After call, we have roll call. So take a look and see that our supervisor represented myself in case of 5 votes. We do have absences for Supervisor Dolsky and for Supervisor Meadows. Person excused. Approval of minutes from previous meetings. Entertain a motion to approve.
Motion is approved.
Supervisor Gray, Supervisor Becker. Any further discussion? All those in favor, Ethan Governance first.
Aye.
Budget Committee.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, the minutes passed. Thank you for that. Chairman, committee member, supervisor, different governance. I have none except to say that I think that our next meeting on this committee will be the 29th of next month, or 1, 2, for next week's the Monday of the month. And that would be only if we had substantial agenda items. Items are require committee approval and so forth. If we don't, that would be a tentative date. So that would be our, look, I just don't want to put it in the same week as Christmas. So it's a little bit hairy before the Christmas holidays. That is a tentative plan. Other than that, committee members' comments this time. Vice President.
No.
Chief of Governance. Thank you for that. Move on next to then division reports, updates, requested actions. Who's going to be handling the appointment of Daniel Morehouse?
I can, I guess. So we're looking for the reappointment of Daniel Morehouse to serve on the Traffic Safety Commission. So I guess we're just recommending approval for him to be on that committee, starting the 31st day until December 31st of 2028. Yeah, so he served 1 term already, so he's looking to continue serving on that.
Well, it's up. Also,
Motion. I'll second.
Becker, Frank on that order. Discussion.
What was his attendance?
I don't believe his attendance was noted on previously. I don't have that.
Are those meetings you're personally involved with, Greg?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so your recollection of his attendance, you described as well.
I can't tell you that there are several people in that meeting throughout the whole thing. I can't tell you that I know all of them who they are, but right. So he is a police officer with Pleasant Prairie.
Let's phrase the questions. In terms of your recollection, it's not been an issue with his absence as far as you know. Is that correct?
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Further comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Governance.
Aye.
Thank you. For lunch, number 2, Parks Division, Mr. Wagner.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I have a number of things for you guys this evening, and I put a few summary sheets together just to make this as digestible for everybody as possible. And item A is the 2026 Parks entry fees. Normally, there aren't any substantial changes to this, and there aren't today either. There's 3, and I'll walk you through what those are. Otherwise, it does remain unchanged. So going off of the summary on the top, we are looking to remove the collection of fees from July 3rd at Old Settler Park. That would not impact the July 4th operations at Old Settlers Park or at Silver Lake Park. We're looking to remove it on the 3rd, mostly, well, I'll give you 2 good reasons. Number one, the revenue that is netted from that is not generally worth the effort that is involved with coordinating it. That's probably the first and foremost item, but also a lot of frustration and confusion has come from that over the years, not just from complaints from myself, but to other members of Public Works or in the executive's office, that there's confusion around, are we charging for the actual fireworks themselves, or are we just charging on the 3rd, let's say charging on the So after looking at the revenue, we decided it makes more sense to alleviate those concerns and confusion and not collect any fees on the 3rd of July. Looking at the second item, pavilion number 7. So all of our pavilions have a flat $100 base fee. We're proposing to drop number 7 to $85. That building was not built to be a pavilion. It did not have parking lot or drive-up access. Right now, if anyone would like to rent it, you would have to walk in. And again, it's not an interior pavilion. There's one roof that it's made of wood, but it's a roof that comes over the side, and that is that style of it. So there have been complaints in regards to this pavilion as it does not have the same amenities as the others, which are warranted. It does not. It does not have a parking lot, volleyball floor, park, playground, any of those amenities. So after doing some market research, we are pretty competitively priced. So rather than raise all the other pavilions, dropping this one seems to make the most financial sense. And there'll be an addition of a base market fee. So all the way on the back page, what our base fees are for special events. Right now, there is a base event fee for $100 per day plus any add-on. We're proposing to add a $500 base fee that would be for a market specific. This would give you 4 occurrences, so you can do 4 days of it. But that does not exclude you from any of the other add-ons. So you would still have to pay for the tent permit or barricade rental, picnic table rental, any of those add-ons, except for private vendor or concession, you have $125. That is what I have for the park and use. Any questions?
Questions for Mr. Morris or Vice Decker?
We charged at Silver Lake Park on July 3rd.
No, we do not.
So why were we charging at Old Settlers? We weren't at.
That's a great question. That's why we're removing it.
Okay,
Yeah,
I did look, this coming 4th of July, the 4th is on a Saturday. And the 3rd is actually on a Friday, and that's the observed, so everyone's gonna have off that day, not everyone, but that is the federal holiday. So are we anticipating, the parks being really full because that is the observed holiday?
I don't anticipate that. We would not want to change the operation that we do there. I should throw that out as a caveat. So on July 3rd, we still staff the park very heavily, and we have a parking operation at the front of the house. That wouldn't change. We just wouldn't be stopping folks to collect the fees. But in terms of expected attendance for it, if I'm remembering correctly, this last year we had the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. It was a run where you would have had, if you could request off that Thursday, July 3rd, you would also have on Friday and then the whole weekend. So we expected a huge flood of people, and we just didn't see it. It's still busy, don't get me wrong, but traditionally we make, I would say, between $2,000 and $3,000 on the 3rd of July. Versus at Silver Lake Park, we'll make between 15 and 20,000 on the 4th. So,
But that's a lot bigger than Old Settlers Park.
Right.
What do we make on the 4th of July at Old Settlers Park?
at Old Settlers Park,
Yeah,
between 5 and 6 probably. So we're still charging on the 4th, just not the.
okay.
Yeah.
And why, you said you don't know why we're charging on the 3rd. How much do we get in Dogs Park entering fees on a yearly basis?
On a yearly basis,
Or whatever,
I couldn't answer that question right now. I'd have to look it up for you.
how about monthly, do you know at all? I mean, does it seem that people are actually paying to go to the dog park, or are they just,
Oh, for sure.
For
Well,
sure?
no, absolutely.
okay, so it's enough that it pays for its maintenance and things like that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. And is there a state law or something that does not allow us to charge more, like exorbitant amounts for non-residents?
There is a law. I think we can't go more than double, which is why it's set at the rate that it's at.
Okay. Wondering why we have that law when Illinois can charge us way more than double for our parks and for our gear tag fees, hundreds of dollars more. Okay, thank you.
Anything else for Mr. Moore on these rates? Motion approved. Any further discussion? I have a question too. And that is on the last page, vendor market base fee. Is that a new item for this particular go around? Is that what you're highlighting?
Yes, yeah, it's brand new. So it's not a modification, it's an addition.
So is it any part particular for this, or you specifically identifying parks, but this would be likely what it costs them.
It would be eligible for any park. And really, the way that we do special events is it is quite fluid. So if you have an idea for a special event, you could put it on the application, propose where you would like to have it, what you would like to do, and it becomes more of a conversation from there. So if somebody wanted to host one at Bristol Woods Park, for example, that's not my first choice, but it is on the table. We would anticipate to see it at Pine Springs Park, 10% or some of these larger places where that kind of demand is.
Does that exist to a certain extent? For example, when Comfort has the car show? Is that an example of this, or is this going to be a new thing?
That would, you could fall under that if we would consider it a market. That's where it starts to get more, I guess we'd have to drill down with the different.
Oh, as opposed to just a display of cars, you're actually
Right.
selling type of goods or products.
Exactly. So if you're going to have vendors,
Okay,
and the whole purpose of it is to be sort of a market with vendors, have a different conversation. Whereas a car show, it's more of a display, and you're saying that would fall into one.
further questions or comments? All those in favor,
I didn't get a second.
second?
I second.
I didn't hear you.
I second. Not that it's a big deal.
As long as Wendy has the straight, that's all we're concerned. And you can governors can vote first this time.
Aye.
Rest of the committee members signify by saying aye, if you support.
Aye.
No, you do not. Motion passes. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next up I have is an explanation of the 2026 Petrifying Springs Parkway widening project. Say that 5 times. So I gave each and every one of you a summary of the project. And then just as an addition, the map that I have on the back side, that is for internal use only. It's not a public map, but I just wanted to use it to sort of articulate the point, and I'll get to that towards the end. So in 2026, the plan near the beer garden at Petrifying Springs Park is to actually widen the parkway to accommodate angled parking. If you look at page 2, I tried to paint as clear a picture as I could of what the current conditions are. So I would say there's roughly 10 events per year between either events that we host as Parks Department or the beer garden host as a private entity, a private operator, where the parking conditions just don't facilitate the demand. So folks will park in the grass, they'll park on the shoulder, and they'll eat the ticket. So rather than do something like put up a split rail fence, which comes at the price tag of roughly $80,000 after we got a quote, we started to change our thinking on that and look at it more as how do we invite these people into the park rather than try and just shoo them away simply because we don't have the route to facilitate. So if you flip to page 3, we started to look into angled parking. And you have a few different options for angled parking, but it is the least invasive way to add more parking to the area without adding additional parking lot, which we would consider to be quite invasive. We want to preserve as much parkland as possible. Our mission is always stewardship and park preservation. So if we could add up to 50 spots, which this plan will allow for, while not adding another parking lot, we consider that. So we are looking to do up to 50 spots. And if I know I'm flipping all over the place, but if you're looking at the front page at area A and area B, we're going to widen the parkway where we can, push back the curb and gutter, and add for more parking in those areas. The parking lot or the speed limit through these parking areas currently is 15 miles an hour, which is still recommended speed. But if we do notice that any sort of mitigation techniques are needed, we will add things like speed bumps to make it a little safer for people to pull in and out. So that's the best summary I can give you. Any questions, comments?
How much is it gonna cost for the 50 additional parking spots?
So we're still working on whether or not we can collaborate with the highway department to fit in their schedule, or if we're gonna have to bid it out. What we put in CIP is about $220,000, which would be from public bid for a separate contractor to come in. If we can do it in-house, that might save us some money, but we're still working that part out.
Said 50,000, 50?
No, 220
220 for 50 spots.
for 50 spots.
That's where the
Yep,
50 comes from.
correct.
I shouldn't raise my hand, Chairman, I'm sorry, I jumped in.
Go ahead.
Okay, second, got carried away there. It's proximity of Parkside. Is it possible to just run a shuttle bus for the 10 events between Parkside and here?
I'm glad you asked. So the map that I included here is the current shuttle route that we use. We are currently doing that. So every time we have an event of this size, especially one that the park department is managing or the beer garden, we hold them to our standard, which is they supply shuttle.
Right.
So we will shuttle as far as area number 3 and all the way out to UW Parkside. And as effective as that is as an internal operation, unfortunately, it's no bonus work. People will still park in the grass, mostly because they don't want to wait. And that's, could be jumping to conclusions. Maybe they don't see the shuttle pickup or drop off signs, but in terms of what the operation looks like is if we get volunteers, we'll utilize them. Otherwise, we will staff park employees at these events, at the areas and the intersections to actually direct people to shuttle parking. And we will put signs, you'll see on the back side of that map, what the sign looks like, a sign that has shuttle pickup and drop off. So people are, I'll say we are conditioning the public to use this and they are getting better at it, but it is not completely solving the problem.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Brandon.
Just out of curiosity, when you take the pictures of the cars parking on the grass and off the shoulder, et cetera, did you notice that the parking lots further down were all filled up? And is that why they're doing it? Or they're just people being lazy and they don't want to park further down in the lot that's more than enough parking spots? They're just parking on the grass because they don't want to walk that far.
So let's say it's a combination of both on any given day. I've seen it both ways. Because it's a popular park, if this event is on a weekend, which most of us are, the pavilions tend to get rented. So if the pavilions are rented, area number 3 is a pavilion. If you were to rent that, you're entitled to that parking lot. So oftentimes that will fill up. But I have seen it the other way around where there is ample parking at area number 3 or area number 4, and they just don't want to. So we have worked with the sheriff's department. They do come in and ticket those vehicles. I have noticed it curb the situation, but it has not stopped again.
Because I've noticed that, and that doesn't surprise me, that, people just are too lazy, they don't want to walk that far, and it's not a parking problem. It's not as if every single spot all the way up and down is taken. It's, maybe I'll check one area and 2, and then I'm stopping. I'm not going any further. If they did, they probably would find a spot, but they just thought, okay, I'm gonna park.
And in fact, it might even be in some of these photos, but there's some folks who, rather than park in the grass, will park in the parking lot, but just
Create their own space.
right, exactly, and they'll block the exit. One thing we are hoping this will do as well is if there is parking spots in those areas, so the areas highlighted are traditionally where we see the most people parking in the grass. We figure if there are parking lots there or parking spots there, and there are vehicles parked in those spots, you can't possibly park in the grass. So that will act as its own fence, so to speak. So that's what we're hoping for.
Nice.
Supervisor Becker.
I'm looking at page 3, the colors.
Yeah.
Can you explain to me what we're going to do? The orange, are we paving that?
Yeah.
Or, so that's grass right now, and we're gonna remove the move the curb and gutter over to by the blue?
Correct, yeah.
And so that, the orange will be paved. What about the green?
That'll be new. So the reason there's a difference between the orange and the blue is just the relocation of the pad. So this was from a memo. I worked with Clark Dietz, they're an engineering firm that sort of drew up what the probable cost would be. And they provided this graphic. So they were trying to articulate to me how far we'd have to move the path.
Okay,
So the path would have to be bumped back until a certain point. Once you get to the green, the path doesn't have to move and it can stay where it is. But everything orange and green all the way along would be paved.
okay. And that all would be either angled parking or parallel parking based on how wide of an area we have. Is that correct? Or is it all gonna be angled?
All angled parking.
Okay,
We'll get a lot more spots if we go angled. I think,
because right now, people are parallel parking. which
Right.
We could have more cars with the angle parking, right?
right,
Okay, thank you.
absolutely.
Further questions on this? As I take a look at this map, the predominant changes are closer to the beer garden. See, orange and green, there is somewhat from the curve on the way to the next parking lot. That's just when you cross the bridge, right?
Correct, right.
Then on the back page, potential parking expansion, that would be for that particular parking lot, once you cross the bridge coming in. So it's not big bang good one, that goes,
Right, that is sort of our last resort if we have to get to that point. We don't want to add an additional parking lot for all the reasons I mentioned before, in addition to the added cost of how much that would be. It's also quite close to the golf course, and after talking with Jim, we're not 100% confident we wouldn't break 2 windshields.
I think golf balls over there.
Yeah.
Not intentionally.
So it might not happen all the time, but it's possible, and it's not the preferred option. More than anything, we want to preserve as much parkland as possible and keep it a beautiful park that people want to.
Well, it appears from what I'm seeing here, at least the concerns with people parking on grass, doing that type of behavior during these large events is going to be somewhat mitigated by this right here. It's probably not a solve every problem. I think it's sort of comes to go in the right direction. It looks like it's done fairly, my eyes here, responsibly with an eye to preserving parkland as much as we can. The split rail fence idea, that would have run from approximately where
The split rail fence would have been a much larger footprint, only because if we park vehicles in this area, we're adding more parking and stopping people from going. We would have added split rail to areas A and B where you have it here, and then also south of the beer garden as it goes towards the JR parking lot.
it seems like that's rather a permanent solution to a situation that's somewhat transient in nature. Because it's only how many times per year we have these real big things,
Right.
at the same time, same time.
Exactly. Where if we add the split rail fence in, yes, it will work. You know, we'll add split rail fence everywhere with the parking issue. If we could add parking or angle parking to JR, we would, but there's really no way. With the ditch there and with the speed limit on JR. So this is the best place we can add parking. And the split rail, again, it's not inviting people to enjoy the parking. You know, we're just pushing them further down the road and
It's
taking
another
further
maintenance
rest.
issue has to be maintained. It comes to mind is sometimes some temporary conditions, like they do on the golf course, maybe Jimmy can comment. Sometimes they actually have the metal stakes that have loops in them, and you run the yellow cord through it, just as the demarcation thing. Perhaps if we thought that even with this expansion, we were looking at maybe a little bit better management of the parking situation, they can do on a temporary basis. It would take that long to pick up, take down.
Are you referencing the nylon rope?
Yeah.
We do utilize that.
Do, okay, all right.
We put that up before and after each event. People will take it down.
When you find out, everybody must be carrying Sydney. See that too.
Yeah, we made this decision this last year to only put it up for the larger events, mostly because it was getting knocked down. And we do find that when we manage the parking ourselves, it's not usually a huge concern. But that does not, I'll put it this way, we still have to buzz around the park and talk to people personally as they're parking, and it's a very active operation. We would like to not have to chase people down.
Is this a proposed improvement for 2026?
Yes, it is in the CIP.
Since here. Questions or comments from,
Move to approve. One more question.
That's right.
50 spots. What is the, typical, it just sounds like a lot of money, $200,000+ for 50 spots, right? So it's a lot. If the 50 spots are there, do we still run shuttle buses? I mean, we probably use more than 50 spots over at Parkside, right?
Right. The idea would not be to go away from the shuttles. We would still want to do the shuttle operation. It'd be one of those situations where, much like with that additional parking lot, we want to monitor it for a year to see how much of an impact that it has. If we notice that the shuttles aren't being utilized, then we can cut the shuttles. They're not overly expensive.
But this is about saving grass, not
Right.
necessarily doing away from the shuttles.
Right.
so is a resolution required for this, or is it not?
So that why.
I still think it's a good idea for us to go on record to say, from what we see from a conceptual standpoint, support think it's a good idea or we don't. So I think the motion to say that from a conceptual standpoint, You must, that's, when you support this, it's fine. So
I thought it was a resolution, frankly. That's what he's built.
where's the maker of that suggestion?
I moved the resolution. It's not a resolution, I know. So
Do we have a second of it?
there's no resolution. There's nothing to move.
Well, it wouldn't be a resolution if it's been advisory.
The board ought to be.
I would just say the next person is the doing that's the right. You're a problem, Karen.
I just read the rules of procedure, that's why I do it.
I think that's rules of procedure. Very well. What is next on the agenda, Mr. Moore?
Right, next I have my division reports. So in front of you is the Parks Division report. I'll go through and highlight some of the projects, but it does remain unchanged when I submitted it. So things that are different on here from November, or from October to November is going into the playground replacement schedule. We're finished up with Old Settlers Park, so we'll be looking soon at Brightonvale area number 2. Same price tag, we're looking at doing the, we're looking at getting a design done for that area that will meet the needs of that area. So that Brightonvale number 2 is in between one of our largest pavilions and the 4 ball diamonds that we have at Brightonvale Park, so that playground does receive a lot of use. So we're beginning the design process on that. Currently working with Enberg Anderson on the chapel repairs within the Kemper Center. We are near the end of the design and specs for that, and then we'll be going right out the bid as soon as it's done. But it is a somewhat complex project because there's several different disciplines within one scope. So there's carpentry, flooring, lighting, a lot of different work. All right. And I have the facility condition assessment for the Kemper Center as well, which has been referred to as the bone study, just to assess the interior condition of the Kemper Center. We're still working with Insight on finalizing it. We are going to spend a little more time making sure we're getting everything out of it that we want. In its current state, we want to ensure that Insight takes it to a place where we can use it as more of a reference document for next steps that we need to take. And at the moment, what we have is not quite there. So when it's done, I'll bring a summary of it to the committee. But the aim of it is to give us an idea of what is in the most critical condition within the building, what steps do we have to take to actually rectify that and get it ready for more heavy utilization. In its current form, I would say it's almost there, but it's not there. The Kemper Center shoreline repair, we're going to be entering the design phase of that in 2026. We're working with Red Bars Design and Engineering. I've discussed that one before, but we're now taking it to the design phase. Moving on to some of the newer items on the agenda as well. New maintenance shop over at Petrifying Springs Park. This is also in the CIP. We're just entering the design phase for it. But we're going to be building a new shop in that area. The shop that's currently there is nearly 100 years old, and it was built to function as a maintenance shop just for Petrifying Springs Park when it was built. The park is now, at least what we manage, double the size. We now manage the Parkside Trails, which is almost the exact same size as the park. We also do Brightondale Park, which is not part of the original footprint, and the Petrifying Park Trail. So the current shop simply cannot continue to facilitate the needs. And we are at a point where we have to decide, do we start repairing the shop or do we build one that meets the needs? The current one is close enough to the river embankment that it's this close to falling into it, and I'm not, that's the scale. So that we're entering the design phase for in 2026. Other than that, we do have an opening for a full-time maintenance employee on our web. And Sam, who was with us for just over a year, wonderful employee. We wish him the best. He's transferring to the highways department. We are considering that a step up for Sam, and we think he did an excellent job with the parks team. He actually acquired a CDL on his own time with the hope and ambition of joining the highway department as a career. So we're very happy for Sam, and we'll welcome this replacement when they're ready. Come join us at the tree lighting on Saturday. It's going to be fantastic.
So your need for this upcoming year will be a new full-time parks worker for the West End?
Correct. Yep. It's a maintenance employee, not a leadership position. Similar to our long-term maintenance employees, but they're our only full-time employee who's not in a leadership or a special projects type of role.
So it's a year-round position, and that'll be posted when we're supposed to.
We're getting ready to post it next week. Yep.
anything for the Parks Department, questions, comments? If not, thank you very much. We appreciate your report. Next agenda item, Highway Division, Mr. Greg Lowe.
All right, thank you for your time here. So yeah, a couple of kind of general things. Again, the report has not really changed as written, but I will go through and provide a couple of highlights. This past year, since our last meeting, we did do some winter operations training in-house. It was the first time it'd been done in several years, so overall it went well with a couple of hiccups here and there. So we'll take what we can learn from it and make it better, but we think it's a good chance for our team to kind of go over what's expected during winter operations on a yearly basis. We also did some OSHA safety training over the past period of time that the team went through, the crew and those folks went through. And then we spent a fair amount of time working on some grant opportunities, grant applications through the Wisconsin DOT that would do at the end of October here in hopes of getting some funding for future roadway projects. Outside of that, obviously, we've kind of transitioned from kind of a summer maintenance to our winter maintenance operations. We are keeping all snow east of the interstate this year, like we did have a couple weeks ago. So it's only going to snow east of the interstate. West of the interstate will have no snow. I live out west. I don't care what you think. I'm kidding. But no, obviously we did have the one significant, somewhat of a surprise snowstorm, a few weeks ago where obviously we got anywhere from 12 to some reports of 18, 19 inches of snow right along Lake Michigan and a dusting out here. But yeah, so vehicle setup of winter operations has been a huge factor. What I will say is, obviously we had a very successful summer maintenance season. We paved a lot of roads. We did a lot of mowing. We got a lot of work done, both on our county highways and within our state highways, within the limits that the state wants us to work. So we had a very successful summer season. Fleet equipment is always tough to buy. So we're still waiting on delivery. A lot of pieces of equipment that were included in the 2024, 2025 budget seasons, obviously, looking to get those orders out and everything with the 2026 budget approved equipment, get those pieces of equipment spec'd out, quoted out, and get ordered as quick as possible. Again, will we see them in 2026? Most likely not, but at least we can get them in the line. As far as kind of some other projects, County Trunk Highway WG, which is on the south side of the county here near the Illinois border. It was closed for a period of time to replace the bridge that has been open now. So that roadway is now open. And then County Trunk Highway N, 38th Street, adjacent to Uline's campus in the city of Kenosha. That development project where they reconstructed 38th Street or County Trunk Highway N, that roadway is opened as well. So for the most part, our roadways are open. Pleasant Prairie will be doing a water main project along 122nd Avenue or ML, but we're working with them as to they'll work on that through the winter, but it will be along our roadway, but it will be a Pleasant Prairie project. Staffing, we did welcome a new civil engineer, Josh Piggott, started about 3 weeks ago. So we have a full complement of engineers on staff now. We have 2 accepted offers in a highway patrol. One of them is Sam, as Wyatt talked about, coming from the Parks Division. We did have 2 resignations from highway patrol. So as of right now, we are short 3 highway patrol workers, 1 mechanic, and then we will be posting for the mechanic/fleet inventory specialist position here probably this week yet. That was a position that was added in the 2026 budget, transitioning a mechanic to this fleet inventory specialist. So that is what I have.
So the last position you mentioned is inventory
Specialist.
specialist / mechanics, if you will.
Primarily inventory specialist. Probably some ability to do some very minor mechanic work in a pinch, but primarily it will be inventory and parts inventory, ordering of like fuel and, you know, all those kind of day-to-day tasks. Yeah. We've kind of had someone in that role, but not classified as that, and we want to actually classify them for what they're doing.
What equipment do you think you might take the delivery of in 2026? What's going through the pipeline yet?
So we think we should get 2 triaxle trucks, and I think those are from the 24 budget, I think, maybe even 23 budget. I think the 24 budget. So we should be getting those. You know, 1-ton trucks, we'll probably get those that we wanted, that were in the budget in 2026. It's just how and what's available. We have an excavator that's being purchased. I don't expect to see that in 2026. It's in the 2026 budget, but we're hoping to quote that out here in the first quarter. But will we see it delivered? I wouldn't expect
So
to.
just the 2 triaxles or
Yeah, but when it comes to dump trucks, if we haven't already ordered it, we will not. Even stuff we've already ordered, we won't see till 2027. So, yeah, if we've got 2, 1 triaxle, 1 tandem, and you know, we ordered them this year, probably 6 months ago, I think. 3 to 6 months ago, we ordered those.
those are for tandems.
Yeah, the tandems and the triaxles. So the dump. We're trying to move away from single axles. We will need some in our fleet, obviously, but we are moving away from them.
Questions or comments for highways? Supervisor Becker?
Do you know why there's such a backlog on these large pieces of equipment? I know like fire engines, it's like a 4-year backlog.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, there's every reason from, you know, they get backed up because there was a chip and then there was a wheel you couldn't buy. Some supply chain slows up somewhere across the world.
Most people like,
It seems to be supply chain stuff. And I mean, quite frankly, we can get the chassis and then they have to go to a bodybuilder to build them. Well, they sit there for 6 to 9 months before they even get looked at because they're short staffed too, to be able to put these pieces of equipment together. You know, when we talk to these bodybuilder companies like a Monroe Truck, Crete, or those kind of things, they're always looking for mechanics and looking for employees and to help put this stuff together. No, pre-COVID. It was really probably the 2000, when I started noticing like the 2018, 2019 kind of recession kind of point where everything used to be in stock and everyone was afraid to keep anything in stock, afraid they weren't going to be able to sell it.
I was just gonna add a part of the supply chain
Right.
issues was we just couldn't get the build slots. Build slots were going to the companies that were paying the top dollar to get it, whereas the governments, fire engines, other entities that are getting state discounts or whatever else kept getting rooted out of the builder slots.
is that still happening?
No, so like what you see on this sheet where we actually have a lot of these chassis in to be built, we weren't even getting those between like 22 and 24. Everything was just sitting dormant. We couldn't even get a build spot in. So the fact that we're actually getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chassis built is a huge increase from what we could see in previous years.
Good question. Further questions for Mr. Bull? Plenty of salt for winter. Very good.
We are full of salt.
Ready for all the snow east end, but not west end.
We only need, we're just going to move it all to the east end and not worry about the west end.
We'll take turns.
No, no, not a fair deal.
Who is responsible for painting reflective striping for the entrances and exits on the interstate?
The state of Wisconsin.
Did they ever contract with us or did they? just-
No, we do not have a paint crew, so we do not do, we do minor painting with our in-house crew. We do a contract every year where we divide the county up into, now you're gonna put me on a spot, 4 or 5 sections. And so we go through and repaint everything in those, so kind of a 4 or 5 year rotation to repaint the county roadways. All of the state, painting and pavement marking is all done through a state contract that we don't even bid on because we don't have that ability.
So the lane miles are the same as the entrance and exits in terms of the state administering to them. and
Yeah.
mileage.
Yeah.
Nothing further from Mr. Bull. We appreciate your report. Thank you. Let's move on to Mr. Martinelli. Who's taking Mr. Martinelli's position?
Frank is unable to be here, so I will take his report. Nothing's changed since the submittal. He does have quite a few projects on the punch list, so he's minor stuff, including KCDC, HVAC, this KCC backup generator, and the Brookside backup generator. I believe almost all those punch list items are done, so just a few remaining. He still has ceremonial courtroom restoration, which he had mentioned it's on schedule. And then the PSB underground gasoline and diesel tanks is moving forward. So they do have the tanks in, I believe, right now, both of them. Right?
Yep, that's correct.
And then Kemper water infiltration, we are just doing some remaining items with the contractor. We did have some issues with them, but we're moving forward and trying to close that project out. And then the PFB HVAC air handling unit is started on October 27th. This report?
So what is the status with the fuel tanks at public safety building where we have it? How far?
Tanks are in, they do have to yet to put up the canopy. And I think that was it, right? And backfilling.
Yeah, they're still piping, hard piping the tanks into the strip, I can't think, the pump stations, and then they still have electrical to run, and then they have to backfill and then
So those
work on the
are
canopy.
underground?
Correct.
So it's gotta be a tricky bit of business. Do the tanks go in the same location, the new ones as the old ones?
Correct.
So how do you change those on the plan? I mean, it's like, you still have to pump fuel for when the,
Right now, the fuel is out, so sheriffs can either come out here to KCC where they have P cards to use at their dump.
very well, questions for this particular item on our agenda? Fellow supervisors? Seeing none, thank you for that report. Taking a look, it is now for Mr. Jim Wallace and Dawn.
Thank you, Chair Green. Major change, since the writing of this report. You'll see golf rounds as of 11/18/25 are 122,341. The current number as of last Friday is 122,342. So we picked up one in there somewhere last week after we closed. Maybe they bought somebody that snuck out there or something, but, so we did surpass 24 by roughly 1,000. Again, I feel a bit like the boy who cried wolf. I don't see this pace as sustainable every year. We didn't have a lot of rain out on weekends and stuff like that. It's great, but I'm not going to make future decisions based on this of volume both of the golf courses. 2 great years of weather. So we'll see what happens. It's great. We're going to enjoy it while we can. Luckily, the golf course has held up well. So most of the seasonal staff is done for the season. We've got a few maintenance staff still around, but I think Wednesday will be the last day for most of them. Just trying to clean up some leaves and whatnot. So one thing I want to highlight is we have issued a PO to replace the golf cart fleet at Petrifying Springs. So we do 1/3 of our fleet for 3 years. We've done 2 sections at Brightondale. So Pets is due now, and then we'll take a year or 2 off, and then we'll start buying golf carts again. I did add, instead of trading in some utility vehicles as part of that, I decided to keep what we had, which will add to our fleet. Both of our maintenance departments at each facility could use another cart. And I want to start using those utility carts for the Ranger carts so that we can add more tasks, such as filling divots, emptying trash, for the duties they're doing while they're out there driving around the golf course. And we decided to purchase, what we used to do was purchase a regular utility cart and put a very heavy cooler in the back of it for the beverage carts. And I found that this created a bit of an unsafe situation with all that weight in the back. These carts weren't really made for that. So we'll be purchasing 4 beverage carts that are made for that have the cooler built into it. They have a little bigger wheelbase, better brakes, better suspension, a safer vehicle for these, young folks who are hiring to drive a beverage cart. So, just wanted to highlight that, that obviously was all approved as part of the sports improvements last year. So we hope all this will arrive in the spring. Other than that, the big highlight is the storage building at Brightondale. The bid's been awarded to Rash Construction. We've had a pre-con, they are pulling permits now, so we hope to get something started, at least earthwork and maybe concrete yet this year, but we'll see what. That's the only thing that might have changed. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer a couple.
His numbers, the great executive.
Beverage carts, huh?
About 18,000. Yeah.
Not that I've ever seen any of our beverage cart drivers drive crazy.
Correct.
I have seen them drive on other courses, and I'm surprised how long those last, as roughly as they are driven.
Yeah, well, that's interesting because when we buy these utility carts, we were basically buying some every year. Now, the utility carts are about 12,000. But we were buying them every year, and at the end of the year, we would give them to our maintenance and give the new ones to the beverage carts. Well, down in maintenance, the mechanics was like, these things are crashed. Just because all that, they're not made to hold all that weight in the back, and you can tell when you steer them, it's almost like you feel like the front wheels aren't really on the ground. It's your weight. Yeah, so it's not a good, so I said, we gotta stop doing this and get some actual carts that are made for this. And I'm hoping with proper maintenance, we can keep these units for 4 or 5 years and then trade them in, as opposed to recycling them every year. I'm hoping these will last 4 to 5 years, so see how that.
Any other questions for Rich? In terms of the facility at Brightondale, it's been awarded and construction will begin as what it allows, or what's the deal?
Yeah, so the goal is to have that, what's in the contract is that it gets completed by spring of 2026. Any work they can do to get started, there's a little bit of earthwork they need to do to flatten out the space. And then, obviously weather's gonna kind of dictate what they can do, but they gave a timeline of 180 days in order to give them that window. And we're also doing some siding and a roof on one of the existing buildings.
Okay.
So that stuff they might do. So.
So it's like gonna be a pole barn type building?
Yeah, it's a cold storage pole barn, yeah,
So it goes on a slab, regular standard.
correct,
I understand the golf courses are closed, is that correct?
correct,
Saturday was the last day of last week, is that correct?
correct, Saturday the 15th, I believe.
Aren't you here to enlighten the committee on how the attendance at Petrifying Springs was on that last Saturday of golf?
Over 200 and, even with the short window, it was over 200. And a good day in the summer when we're going at 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. is about 300 at Petrifying Springs. That's a really good day. And I want to say we did about 240 on that Saturday in November, when you're really not starting until 8, 9 o'clock, depending on frost, and you're done at 4:30. So, yeah, we packed them in. Brightondale too, we had 18 open plus the 9-hole course, and they were taking tee times on all 3 nines in the morning and just shuffling them around. Yeah, it was a busy day for us.
I heard anecdotally that Petrifying Springs ran out of carts. All the carts were off the course. That's the last Saturday the course was open.
Yeah, it's
Kind of encouraging there, and probably points to the fact that it was a more increased attendance, so we might have thought of it.
Yeah, I think we had no frost that morning, 60 degrees. Look, if you told me in March that we were gonna go until November 15th, I would take that every year.
Right.
That's a good year, so. Okay.
Good. Have you further questions for Don? Seeing none, we thank you much for your report. We'll talk again next month. Taking a look at facilities and Mr. Mansfield.
Thanks Supervisor. The first item we have is a resolution for authorizing the city of Kenosha to install a freestanding antenna. This will be on the roof of the public safety building. It'll be about a 5 by 5 foot square in the southeast corner of the building, to be used by the fire department through the city to improve their communications. This was approved by finance unanimously, and any details on it, I'll defer to Shelley as she and Frank put it together. So we ask for your approval.
Let's do the motion for first of all. Becker, seconds. Great, seconds. Discussion, questions on this item?
Was the resolution on?
It should be, yeah.
It's under Matt, Storino Facilities.
Uh, Thank you.
Mhm.
So from a physical standpoint, this is located directly on the roof?
Yep.
Okay. And what is the underlying support for it? Is it attached to the roof itself? Is it a corner on the parapet? What are we doing?
I haven't been involved with the actual design, but in other antennas that are in similar size of location, there's a tray and they sits on the ballasted rocks of the roof in a tray, and then it's just cinder blocks that are holding this antenna in place.
So do we have other roofs, other antennas of similar construction on that roof already?
Yes,
Okay, so this is in addition. Is the, city gonna pay us an annual fee for having your antenna on our roof?
They charge us fees for
Uh,
anything when we have anything.
Not that I'm made aware of.
Okay, remember that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
File that way on a basis.
Yes.
No, it's good. I'm glad we can help the fire department. Helps communication, makes us all a little bit more safe and better communications, and it's. Seeing no further questions, we can go this first. Any members, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Carry on, Mr. Street.
all right, so quite a few new projects on the report. Nothing has really changed since it's been submitted to you, but I can give a quick overview. Brookside Kitchen project, the flooring is completely installed. We're working on installing the rest of the equipment in the kitchen. So the plumbers are working on that right now. Once those are set, some of the kitchen hood equipment, the ovens and all that, the electricians are coming back to wire. So flooring's done. We're just kind of working on the mechanicals right now. Parking lot at KCDC is completed, just a few minor punch list items. The KCDC PSB emergency panel modifications, that's going to be a pretty quick project. ECI jumped on it right away. They're able to tackle the KCDC side of things and they're jumping on PSB pretty quick. So that project will be on and off of here in about a month. A big project that's come up is the KCDC security. We call it the secure miscellaneous security upgrades. This is 3 projects from the CIP kind of bundled into one to get some better pricing. So it's the secure lobby at KCDC for the guards. It's also a isolation room in H-dorm. And then we're also going to replace a couple of secure doors on the outside of the building. So bids came in for pretty good on that. We're happy with those. Rash Construction also got that one. And we have a big lead time on those security doors, 154 days. So we're looking at like spring before we even get started on that project. Another quick project that just may happen if we have some warm weather is this communications building roof. If we get some sustainable warm weather above 50 to 60 degrees, we'll do that roof. Otherwise, it's going to be a spring project. And then I think that's all. Everything that's new on here. Staffing wise, 2 open positions, 2 custodians. We'd had interviews last week. We made 1 offer and 1 offer is pending reference checks at this time. So nothing's been filled, but we have a couple offers out there. And that's my report.
So 2 openings for custodian, but you're hopeful on one of them, sorry.
Correct, yeah.
Which campus is that person report to?
That would be second shift at the safety building.
Saying communications building roof, is that specific?
That's at this campus. It's would be the tower in the back. We call it the
Oh, out in the,
out in the yard. Yep, there's an older tower out there. So that building is original 1992, needs a roof. So that's the project. We're replacing the roof on it. While we're at it, we're going to reseal the exterior of it, recaulk and seal the building.
just for looking at 2026, this building right here, we have any particular upgrades, remodels, things we're planning on doing in this building for 2026?
2026, we are looking at the possibility of doing warm cold storage roof. We're working with a consultant on that design, and then Shelley has a project for the sheriff's department remodel that would take place here.
So bring that forward to the next meeting, perhaps just with some details what the plan is for. So it's for the sheriff's department exclusively. Okay. Anything else for facilities? See nothing left on our list, so. You notice it may, I take motion.
Don't you have?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Human Services, we are still on schedule. We still are holding the July transfer date, which we will start transitioning the job center employees over to Human Services is still the date of acquisition for us. We have windows have begun. The gas, we have temporary heating going in. If you haven't been in the building, Zone A, which is the addition portion, has started with the first coat of paint. And the ceiling grids have also begun in Zone A. So it is starting to take form inside. It's starting to look like a building. So as you can see, we're getting close to having 100% done with the exterior, and then it's just all the interior zones. We will be getting, the goal right now is temporary occupancy in each zone. And then as each zone gets temporary occupancy, then we'll go to the plan. So that is still the goal. KCC, Matt is correct. We're aiming for October start on remodeling is the goal right now. We are about at 60% plans. There is some renovation to the sheriff's area, the hearing room, these back areas, because we are anticipating it to be used as a backup EOC. So there's some security issues that we're taking care of. And then some just minor remodeling in some of the office areas to add additional staff, etc. So I can bring that forward as a more of a plan once we're kind of finalizing those plans, but we're still only looks at.
Vice Decker.
Are we gonna realize better sound in the large hearing?
Yes. Yes, we are looking at sound. We are looking at acoustics, ceiling heights. To utilize it as an EOC, we're also looking at possibly the removal of the stage component and making a large video wall that will also help with the sound in that room. So that is a high concern that we are evaluating.
Thank you.
Further questions for Director Billington? In terms of the proposed readiness of the new human services building, what is the proposed time slot for next year?
Anticipating that they're going to turn it over to us in July. And then it's a transition period. So we had budgeted a couple months for transition because we can't move every employee over at a big company. We just don't have the staff for that. So it'll be done in phases, and we're working through that with Human Services now.
So is that largely a weekend project?
No.
To do it, it'll happen right during the week,
Correct.
and it will take, you're estimating several months.
Correct.
Do we have anything here in this building currently that resembles the emergency operations center that we have in the EOC here?
No, it's the EOC ones.
So we have one downtown at the downtown. Is the sheriff's department vehicle a usable EOC if needed? I think that was a backup or a
Yeah.
fallback.
I don't know if they're commands actually.
Yeah.
And I think the first.
So the EOC that's proposed for here would be a backup to downtown or an auxiliary, is that the plan?
It's my understanding to be back up to downtown.
And that would occur under the existing footprint of what we have in this building currently. Not looking at expanding out.
The hearing room will not change size.
Good, I'm interested to hear how that pans out once the plans are more. More finalized. All right, further comments or questions?
Motion to adjourn.
And now, I will ask for motion. Supervisor Decker, would like to second that.
Oh.
Supervisor Downey. All those in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, saying no, we're adjourned. Thank you.